Being that the playoffs are coming up, I feel this is a great time to have this conversation and talk about how clutch is for real. Analytics has taken the game of baseball to another level for the better, for the most part. However, there's certain aspects of this game that take away from what these athletes are doing, and it's really unjustifiable. A lot of these statisticians, those who study sabermetrics, will tell you that clutch is not a real thing, that it's merely a sample size over a large season, an even larger career. As a professional fighter, professional athlete, I'm going to tell you that that's not the case, that there are certain intangibles that these statisticians do not take into consideration when forming their opinion. Yes, I get it. Each at bat, each pitching sequence, all sample size, but you can argue that anything is sample size. They also argue that a lot of these athletes come back down to earth later on in life or later on in a career and have a decline. We'll get into that in a little bit. The other big argument is that there's nothing that proves specifically, no hard evidence that clutch is real. But there's also no hard evidence that clutch is not real either. And that's another thing. But let's get into some examples and that might help out here. First of all, this season we're looking at a player like Bo Naylor, who's really come up over the last 2 months, putting the Guardians in playoff contention, looking very good. Cal Raleigh making his case for MVP over Aaron Judge. Coming up in the clutch with hitting home runs. He's probably going to have 60 home runs. That's insane. He's coming up in situations he has, and his team's also going to the playoffs. Now let's talk about Aaron Judge. He's actually counter data to what they're trying to say here. He's someone who's probably one of the greatest regular season players of all time, but coming to the playoffs, he's really faltered. Now, I know I'm leaning on the playoffs a lot here, but that's not necessarily the case. It's just the best sample to come up with. But let me go a little deeper into this situation. Now, part of the problem that they have with arguing about whether clutch is real or not is they're relying strictly on what happens during the event. I get it, it's the production that you're looking at, but there's more to it. And there's more after that event that takes place, which I'm not crazy about. What are we talking about here? All right, so for 1 second, let's talk about the postseason again. You could argue that a lot of these stadiums are colder, more tougher situations to play in, a tougher environment. But let's put that on the back burner for a minute. A lot of these situations, whether it be in the postseason or in the regular season, a lot of these batters or pitchers are facing a higher level of batter or pitcher to consider them clutch or not. You know, if a guy goes out and he pitches a gem against the best team or against the worst team in baseball, they're not going to call him clutch. But if he goes out and he goes against and pitches a gem against the best team in baseball, that they're in a division race, a lot of the best hitters in baseball are on that team, the best lineup that gels. Yeah, that's a clutch situation. If he does it repetitively, yes, very clutch. You could argue he's a clutch player. He's had a clutch season, clutch career. That's part. Now, what happens within those games? So that sample size in itself is a big factor. How do they do against elite level pitching or batting? That's clutch right there. I know personally myself as a fighter, I was only the favorite in 5 of my pro fights. At one point, I was ranked in the top 20 in the world. Why was that? Not necessarily because of my wins and losses. Luckily, I had several more wins than losses. But I took a lot of these elite level fighters into the trenches with me. I was able to battle in these fights. I was able to have productivity, have production. Look at how these players, look at how they take their at bats. Are they battling the at bats? Are they striking out on 3 pitches looking or swinging? Are they creating errors in situations? Are they giving up home runs? That is all part of the clutch gene. Why is that part of the clutch gene? Because we're going to talk about what clutch is as opposed to, or what makes a player clutch as opposed to what a clutch player is. How are they handling that battle? What's going on in that situation? The fan involvement. How do they engage with the fan involvement? Whether they're at home and the fans are coming at them hard, supporting them, and they're getting nervous because they don't want to let the fans down. Are they away and the crap talking is getting to them and they're going to cave under that pressure? That is all part of the environment. What happened earlier in that game? Are they still 100%? I know me as a fighter. I had one fight where I got dropped in the first round. I rolled my ankle and I sprained some ligaments. Wasn't the same in the third round, so I wasn't going to put out proper data, the proper production in terms of data that I would have if I was healthy. Did the player pull his groin in the first round? Was he hit by a pitch and his arm isn't the same? Did the pitcher, did he come off the ground, cut an ankle too hard? Did he roll an ankle? This is all factors that those numbers don't come into considerations with. This is why a lot of those statisticians need to pick their heads up out of the paper and calculator and look at what's going on. This is where you could tell that they haven't experienced elite level of athleticism throughout their life. They really need to give them a break. So, more or less, what I'm saying is You come up with a conclusion. Is clutch real? Is clutch fake? Is it something on paper? Or are some people just built differently?